Together with you, we are a collective force that holds the power to act decisively to accelerate the clean energy transformation. We live in a world that amazes us with its rapturous beauty every day. We believe that it is our responsibility to build an economy that is for the people. Doing so requires nothing short of a total transition of the energy systems that underpin our economies. This is what we do at REON.
Very warm welcome to all of you here today. So good evening everyone who's here and people who've logged on to the internet. My name is Mustafa Khan. I'm CEO of REON Energy Limited. And today we'll be unveiling Reflex, which we believe is the future of 100% clean transition to renewable energy. I'm very glad that we've got representation from many different sectors here. I think we've got people from textile industry, lots of people from cement. Are there any people from cement industry here? Great. Fertilizer, telecoms, utilities, financial services. So a wide variety of industries are represented here. And I think the product we're going to unveil today is going to touch upon facets of your energy system across industries. I'm also pleased that some of the founders of REON are with me today. When REON was set up, I think it's very important to remember why we're here, why we're doing this, why REON exists. So REON was created to move this country towards 100% clean energy, to harness the power of nature, to solve energy problems. And I'm glad to say that since our start, that's one mission that's driven us. We remain very focused on. At the very beginning, we realized that climate change is one of the biggest issues facing mankind. And to solve climate change, we also realized that 70 to 80% of global greenhouse gas emissions are due to energy and across its various uses. So the path to 100% clean energy and net zero will be paved to 100% transition to clean energy. I think today we have reached that point where availability, affordability, and sustainability of energy isn't a paradoxical problem. We know that renewable energy across its various forms has been improving at a breakneck pace. Similarly, the product we're going to unveil today to you is the big missing piece, we feel the most significant technology in our transition to 100% clean energy. So when this company was set up, in short, we were asked to deliver the future of energy. And we believe the future of energy is based on 3 Ds. The future, we believe, is decarbonized, is going to be decentralized, and digitized. And I'll touch upon in a bit what that means and what that vision means for us as an organization. I think just like any startup organization, when we started, we went through a lot of highs and lows. But at the same time, this has been a market development exercise for us. When we started, renewable energy was in its infancy, was a novelty. It's been a journey of a lot of firsts. So for example, when we did a 5 megawatt power purchase agreement for a coal mining company in Thar, it was the first time that a power purchase agreement on the back of solar power was created in Pakistan. Similarly, when we installed 10 megawatt of solar power for an upstream gas field at Bhit for ENI, it was the first time it was done anywhere in the world at that scale, mashallah. More recently, we have integrated about 70 megawatt of solar power with cement companies. And I'm pleased to say that at this scale, this is the only instance where such a large amount of renewable power has been integrated with an industry on a captive basis. We have also been working very closely with the telecom sector, where we have so far installed about 3,000 telecom sites which are running 100% renewable energy. And that's also an e-charging hub for Ashghal, which is the Qatari authority. Since then, I've had many requests from people asking me for free tickets. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get hold of any free tickets so far. It's something I'm working on. But again, it was a first. Renewable energy at that scale has not been used for fast DC charging in the region. So mashallah, it's been a journey of a lot of firsts for Reon, something that we have taken a lot of pride in. And that journey continues, and today is a big chapter in that story for us. So across all of these achievements, I'm pleased to report that Reon Energy today is the largest renewable energy company in Pakistan. I think that calls for a big round of applause and appreciation. So far we have installed about 160 megawatt of solar power. We've installed 30 megawatt hour of lithium-ion based storage, which is helping industries run on 100% clean energy. At the same time, we have also eliminated 6 million tons of carbon emissions from the overall energy system, which is also unprecedented, mashallah. But that doesn't mean that we're going to slow down or we're going to be complacent about this. We know that to move to 100% renewable energy based net zero future, the technologies we've been deploying have to scale up much, much faster. And I just want to share with you what that means in terms of gravity of the challenge that faces us. The last few energy transitions that happened between, let's say, wood and coal back in the 1700s and coal and oil and gas took centuries, hundreds of years. This transition needs to happen over 30 to 40 years. So the challenge facing us is totally unprecedented. I think on top of that, countries like Pakistan face the dual challenge where availability of energy, where affordability of energy is a big issue for both industries and consumers. And we know that the current sources of energy are very intermittent. We know that 50% of the industry runs on captive power. That captive power tends to be very unreliable across gas pressure issues and grid voltage issues. There's already a lot of intermittency in the system. So when you add renewable power on top from wind and solar, the amount of intermittency increases in the system. So how do you solve that problem of intermittency while making energy affordable and available? As I said at the start, this is no more a paradoxical problem. With improvements in cost of renewable energy, improvement in technology and efficiency, and with the product, inshallah, that we will unveil today, that is already making a difference around the world, and this is the first time this is being introduced in Pakistan. We're very excited that that future where availability, affordability, and sustainability of energy can be achieved at the same time is possible. So large-scale storage, as I said, is the missing piece in this overall equation. Now, at the start, I said that the future of energy, we believe, is going to be decarbonized, decentralized, and digitized. We've already touched upon what decarbonization means and why it is important for the world. And I think there are no doubts about the fact that we need to move to a net zero, 100% renewable energy-based system. When it comes to decentralization, we believe that decentralized power and decentralized energy, where energy is generated closer to demand center, is a lot more efficient compared to centralized energy. When power systems were initially created, and people like Thomas Edison put together the first DC-based system, they were all decentralized. The first time centralized power was introduced in the system is when, in 1930s, the Hoover Dam was constructed. And that was the first 1 gigawatt hydropower-based project. It was literally impossible to carry that amount of power and distribute it in the local system, so they had to lay large, long transmission lines. And that's the first time when centralization of power system happened. But we also know that in Pakistan, there's a study that was done by Pakistan Business Council, which says that Pakistan wastes 87% of the primary fuels that go into our system. What that means is all of the LNG we procure, all of the dollars we spend on buying very expensive oil and gas, at the front end, some of it is wasted in transmission systems. Rest is wasted in very low efficiency power generation system. Once it goes into our line, we know the T&D losses are 30 to 40% in the system. And then at the consumer end, we're running very inefficient appliances. So in total, around 87% of primary fuel is being wasted in Pakistan. And we know as a concept, if you move a lot of that generation closer to demand center, the wastage goes down. So now we can see the value we can attach real dollars to decentralized power. So the question I'll ask everybody today is that why centralized? I think the world is very fast, in a very rapid way, moving towards decentralized systems. So when you'll have decentralized systems running on renewable energy, there'll be a need to make them sync with the rest of the legacy system. There'll be a need to balance demand and supply using a lot of technology, because there'll be a lot of fragmentation, there'll be a lot of distributed power in the system. So that system will have to be governed using software. This is where digitalization comes in. And I want to say very proudly that this is the kind of future that Rion has been working on delivering over the last 7 years. Mashallah. So today we're going to share with you a product that takes us firmly towards that future of 3Ds, a decarbonized, decentralized, digitized world of energy. I believe that in that future, storage will be the heart of the system. It will give you energy, give you power when it's needed, where it's needed. And when there's excess, for example, when in the daytime, if you have too much solar power and wind, as we can see in the West, it will store that energy. So it will act as a big balancing component in the whole system. That system will be governed by software, by intelligent energy management system, and in a self-learning loop, the software hopefully will keep getting better over time. Now, in terms of sharing the vision of where that goes, where that takes us in 3-4 years, mashallah, we believe that with the cloud-based software system that we're building, we will be able to build what you call as a virtual power plant, a first one in the region, which means all of these thousands of distributed sources will be governed or controlled by the software running in the cloud. And we will be able to make them act like a single power plant. That's a technology we believe is the future of energy. And that future is here today with us. So with that, and without any further ado, I would like to unveil Reflex industrial scale storage that we believe is the heart of the new energy management system. Thank you. With that, I would like to invite my colleague Zohaib Mohammed to talk more about the features of this very exciting product we are unleashing today.
Hello. Assalamu alaikum everyone and good evening. Thank you Mustafa for an amazing launch. Well, so it's quite exciting to be here in front of you all at the witnessing the edge and the brink of energy transformation. This is simply an amazing moment for us. Every one of you is going to be a participant in shaping the future of energy and eventually taking it towards net zero carbon. I see here I see owners, I see people from MNCs, different industries, directors, plant heads. So let us first start with a simple question. How many of you are actually operating captive power to run your loads? Don't be shy, you can just nod, okay? so we have few of them. In fact, pretty much 50% I see that. So you must be experiencing gas pressure issues and maybe the issues of generator tripping, old assets, and that is a typical problem that we face with the captive generation. Now, another question. How many of you are running large amount of spinning reserve, running your generator or low loadings just because of your load, because of variation of the load? So most of the people are like running their generators at 70%, 65% of loading and wasting more energy, utilizing more fuel. And that is, okay, so if the answer of the first two questions was no, this should be right. So how many of you want to reduce the energy cost?
Me.
I think everyone wants to do that. And for that, you need to actually implement and integrate more and more renewable energy. But when you start integrating renewables, there is a maximum limit you can do it, whether you are on grid, guided by the policies, or if you are on the genset or captive generation, guided by the stability of the system. So that is where we believe that energy storage and reflex is the solution to your problems. So let us have a look at the typical use cases that reflex can solve for us. Most of the Pakistan's industry is using captive power and utilizes gas and HFO-based generators. Renewables, the most economical source of energy, are synchronized with the generation to reduce the cost of each electrical unit produced. However, this comes with high intermittency and does not follow your demand pattern. This means there is a maximum limit to which we can increase renewable energy penetration. This falls around 5 to 6% for a typical captive plant. Any further addition of renewables will result in system instability and unplanned failures. This is where Reflex comes in. Reflex absorbs any renewable intermittency and gives clean, smooth, and reliable power with much larger renewable contribution. Let's look at another use case. Captive powerhouses run with multiple generators, simultaneously providing power to the industry. Most of these generators are old and faced with numerous electrical and mechanical stresses. And I think everyone here can connect to gas pressure and availability issues. So what happens when one of the generator trips? Load shedding, or in a worst case, complete blackout. This results in not only loss of material and production, but a very high opportunity cost. Thanks to Reflex for its super fast response time, all these losses can now be saved. Reflex acts as a hot standby and immediately dispatches power to stabilize your system. Results: no load shedding, no blackout, and most importantly, no financial loss. Let's consider a scenario where there is a sudden increase in load demand. This is a major reason why industry operates powerhouses with large amount of spinning reserve, typically running an extra generator on N+1 philosophy. Large spinning reserves means that generators are operating at a lower loading of around 65%, resulting in suboptimal efficiency and high fuel consumption. With Reflex in place, you can stop worrying about generator failures due to peak load, turn off the extra generator, and operate the rest at optimal fuel efficiency. Our rough estimates depict that around 1.5 to 2% of the total energy cost can be saved just by the introduction of Reflex in your system. And finally, witnessing the current gas availability issues and price hikes, we cannot ignore the critical role of Reflex in grid scenario. Industrialists like you are thinking to move towards grid for 24/7 supply of power. But this again has severe power quality issues associated, putting critical industrial load at risk of power interruption. One of the unique features of Reflex is its seamless transfer from grid to island mode. This allows critical load to be saved from any possible power quality issue or power disruption. Other applications include storing low-cost energy from renewable resources and utilizing it in duration of peak tariff. So, I hope you love my voice. Anyways, so let me summarize. So first step is to maximize the renewables. So when you start maximizing renewables, there's a limit. To cross that limit, you need Reflex in place. With renewable plus Reflex, you can actually have enough of capacity in the system to turn off generators. When you turn off generators, your generator starts to run at a better efficiency and eventually cost saving. And eventually, when you have Reflex in your system, you just don't have to worry about the production losses and the opportunity cost associated. So we even have our customer, Astaf Saab is here. He can tell now he must be very happy because he don't have to worry about any shutdowns and the frequent trippings in his generating and generation system. So whether in short, I also see few people from the utility. So let's talk about Reflex in utility scale system. So when you talk about utility, the major challenge you have is like 24/7 operation of this large complex network that has a lot of long transmission lines, transformers, substations, failures, faults, and stabilization needs to be there. Reflex, whether placed on a central location or at the edge of the grid, can actually provide you stabilization and can improve the quality of power you are delivering to the end customer. So in short, whether you are an industrialist or you are a grid provider, in both cases, Reflex can solve multitude of your problems. That is why we believe Reflex is the solution for you. So now let us look at the key features of Reflex that allows us to solve all of these problems seamlessly. Number one, very fast response time. If you see the number here, this is like more than 200 times faster than your typical generator. So all of these applications, when the generator is stripping, it's going down, and the other source needs to take up all the load, this is only possible by the very high speed response time from Reflex. Number two. Sorry. Okay, so we have here long life batteries. So one of the most biggest killer of financial cases and feasibilities has been the life of battery, because every 3 year to 5 year you have to replace the battery, and that adds a lot of capex. Reflex solves this problem by adding in batteries that are lithium ion based and have very large or long cyclic life. They can, it depends on system from system to system, but typically you can have a life of greater than 15 years. Number three. Where is number three? Okay. So customized design. So this is one of the edge or the USP for Reflex. Typically, when you are planning for an application that is power intensive or energy hefty, these are two different applications and the system design needs to adapt. So for example, if you want to increase renewable penetration, it means that you need more power, much more power compared to the energy capacity. And that is where Reflex comes in with batteries that have a capability, high discharge capability, up to like twice their capacity. So this helps us to optimize the system in terms of the system cost. Number four, high round trip efficiency of 88%. This is something engineered in-house. The right selection of the components within the system makes sure that we get the maximum out of each energy unit stored within the system. Reflex features an efficiency of around 88%, and comparing to other traditional systems like lead acid batteries or sodium based batteries, this is like 5 times lesser losses. For sodium, it's like 2 times lesser the losses. Number 5, efficient cooling system. This is the thing that actually consumes the energy when you talk about the round trip efficiency, and that is where we have put in a lot of engineering effort to reduce the consumption of the system. Number 6, this is a no-brainer, zero tolerance area. Safety is the first priority, and we have made sure that the system is compliant to IEC safety standards, and we ensure the maximization of safety throughout the life cycle of the system. And last but not the least, our baby product, something that we started like 2 years back, Spark, the energy platform. This was started 2 years back with the vision that we should have a platform that can aggregate all of the energy assets and give us the control over them. And mashallah, alhamdulillah, today we are monitoring around 2,200 sites, distributed sites over this platform, and over 25,000 assets. This is the brain behind Reflex. So Spark enables you to not only control the site and each electron going in and out, pumping energy, absorbing energy, but on an aggregated level, it allows you to control every electron and all the assets within the portfolio to suit your need. This is eventually the future of energy. Thank you.
Thank you, Zuhair. Now, I would like to call upon Mujtaba Haider Khan, CEO Rion Energy, and Rizwan Dian, CEO Chairman Gatron Industries, for the signing ceremony of 2.86 megawatt hour Reflex energy storage. I would also like to call upon Tawfiq Bilwani, Director Gatron Industry, Shahid Pracha, Chairperson Rion Energy, Inamur Rahman, CEO DH and ex-CEO Rion Energy, and Saad Faridi, CFO Rion Energy, and Sulaimanur Rahman, Vice President Sales Rion Energy, on the stage for the signing ceremony. big round of applause for the team. Thank you. I would like to request Mujtaba Khan to stay behind on the stage.
Rashad?
Yes, we can.
अब निकाल के रखा
Assalamualaikum, can you hear me?
ओ भाई उधर भी देख ले मैं कैमरा बैलेंस करूँ कर दिया आप तो नहीं पता नहीं कहाँ है तुम्हारा इधर उधर देख लो
Can you hear me now?
इधर देख लो
Okay, so sorry about the technical hitch. So Rizwan, first of all, thank you for putting your trust in us, for first of all installing a lot of renewable energy on your various industries and talking some of those over here. I think we've done a lot of work for you in that space. And now being the first customer of Reflex, which for us is a great honor to have worked with a customer like you. So I just want to ask you a couple of questions. One, how has this transition to solar power been for you across all your industries? And what do you see as the benefits of doing that?
So thank you for having me here and congratulations on launching this very important piece of the puzzle which was still remaining. So full marks to you and your team.
Thank you.
And I think it deserves another round of applause. And before I get to your answer, I mean, every time I interact with Mujtaba, I come out much wiser and much more knowledgeable as far as
I think it's the other way around.
energy solutions are concerned. So a great team. At the end of the day, any company comprises of people, and I would like to congratulate Mujtaba under his leadership. You have a great team, so full kudos to you on that too. And I wish you all the best, and I'm sure with whatever we've done, this will start an era of solutions which would really enable the industry in Pakistan to step up and be competitive.
Inshallah.
So as far as our experience with solar energy is concerned, of course, with the partner like Rion, the whole journey was smooth. Whatever you delivered, you undercommitted and over-delivered. So that's again a hallmark from Mujtaba and his team. So whatever they've committed, they've fulfilled. And of course, in any new project or any new undertaking like this, there are some issues. But the strength is of the relationship and the companies is that whenever those issues are, and again, no shame or no, I mean, in fact, I'd like to declare this publicly that whatever issues were there, they more than stepped up and did everything that was possible. So thanks to
So far, so
the
good.
team, it was very nice.
Thank you very much. I think I must confess I've had good teachers. I think in Inam and in Shahid Saab and Brother Saab, my board and the founders of this company were great mentors for me.
ठीक है, sir.
So with that, Rizwan, I just want to pick your brains on what is your vision with sustainability across your businesses and how far do you see this going?
So Novatex and our group is very much in the forefront of the sustainability drive, and other than the economics, we sincerely believe that it's the right thing to do, and that's what drives us, and that's the passion which I see in you guys, and which sort of runs through our veins now also. And just so that everybody knows, we have got an FDA approval on our PE,
Prashant, mute है.
which is the first in the region. So
Fantastic. Fantastic.
What we are doing, and again, Rion is helping us doing as far as sustainability is concerned. So we have a bottle washing plant, again, one of the biggest lines available in the world, going to run by solar panels installed by Rion. So sustainable and zero liquid discharge on that. So sustainability is something which is very much there for us. And I was in one conference some time back, and I coined up a term. I can't really credit, but I think I did. And that's that we want to move from being sustainably profitable to profitably sustainable. So that's the journey we want.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Great. And I can see a lot of other, I think, customers and partners here who have signed up to net zero. So I just want to congratulate them. Fahad, I know you've done it on last week. So I think it's a very brave move. And I think Gatron remains one of the pioneers to have gone down that path in the industry. So finally, Rizwan, now that we are now putting Reflex into one of your factories, and it is going to be doing a bunch of things, it will, inshallah, stabilize your captive system. It will help us push some of the renewables from daytime to nighttime. How do you see that changing, the sustainability sort of paradigm for you? And what do you see? How do you see that enabling your transition going forward?
Yeah, so I think this is for us, this will not be the only system we are going to be putting in, hopefully, and not only in Gatron but in our other companies. If it turns out to be the way we are all hoping it to, so it's going to not only increase our OEE across all our in Gatron, where we have all these things which were demonstrated here. I mean, we've experienced it on a daily basis, and we hope to resolve all these issues of breakdowns and production loss and running our generators at a lower efficiency. All of that, we hope to resolve that, and by doing that, again, we are doing, I believe everyone be doing a service to Pakistan by using the most available molecule of energy and using it to the fullest by running our power generation equipment at the highest possible rates. And similarly, in our other companies, we hope to replicate the same. And by doing all of that, again, as you have seen, and you get order after order as far as solar energy is concerned. So we would be definitely increasing our solar footprint. And this system, I believe, will really enable us to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I would request everybody for a big round of applause for Rizwan for being the pioneer in this industry, not just with solar power, but now with greater transition, deeper transition towards renewable energy. And inshallah, we look forward to developing this partnership further with you, Rizwan, and passing on some of the benefits of this new technology to you.
So thank you for having me here, and again, congratulations and good luck.
Thank you. Just 1 minute, Rizwan, if you can just stay on for one more minute. I think we need to give audience the opportunity of Q&A. If anybody has any questions they would like to ask me, Rizwan, and maybe if I can ask Zohaib to come back on stage to take any technical questions. जी सर, प्लीज.
हाँ जी, रिजवान, मेरा आपसे सवाल है कि ये जो डिसीजन है, ये आपका सस्टेनेबिलिटी की वजह से डिसीजन है या ये इकोनॉमिक डिसीजन है प्योरली?
Okay, and I think that's a great question. first of all, you have to set the moral compass right? So where we believe sustainability is the right thing to do. And again, I keep on telling the same story over and over again. Like till 2 years, 2 साल पहले मेरी बेटी जो है वो मुझे समझती थी I'm like Al Capone, like making plastic and destroying the world, right? So all of that, and we feel that as human beings, and especially being the leaders of business, it's our responsibility to leave the world a better place than what we received it, right? And that's, I think, being a successful human being and a successful business leader is. So make your company better while leaving it when you got it, right? And the world, right? So this is the right thing to do. Obviously, within that whole sphere of doing the right thing, there are many opportunities to do things sustainably. And what you need to then do is that the economic part then decides which things you do first, right? So if you are like going solar is economically not only possible but more rewarding, right? So that's the right thing to do, and it's economics which sort of dictates that. So then you have to pick and choose which is the most economically feasible, and then you do those things first and save the other things for later, but at least that gets you started.
I just want to add, that having worked with Rizwan, I know he's very commercially minded as well. He's very competent as a commercial manager. So the level of detail Rizwan goes to make a business case stand up is, I think, second to none. So along with having his heart in the right place, I think he's very good commercially as well. So I think he's made the right commercial decision, I would say. Any further questions from the audience? Right at the back. We can have a mic.
Can we have an issue here?
Yeah.
Assalamualaikum. I just wanted to ask, what is the cost of this system in terms of kilowatt hour?
Right. So if you want to touch upon the cost, very cheap, very tricky question, huh?
Yeah, this is very tricky because cost varies very much with the system design. Like we said, that the USP is in customization. So it depends from application to application. Because, say for example, when you start sizing the system, you need to see what is your power requirement and what is your energy requirement. So both of the systems vary significantly. And then when you talk about the scale of the battery, so a system of like 1 megawatt versus a system of 50 megawatt, 100 megawatt has a significant difference in the cost. So it's tricky to answer what exactly is. I can guide you. You can there are many reports available, like research reports are available, and they can just give you a benchmark. But again, that's a huge range in which it varies. Maybe it's something around $300 to like $800, $900 per kilowatt hour. It depends. It depends on your system.
Very well sized up. Very well sized up, right? So I think it's very economical is the best thing to say right now. We'll take one more question. I know Rizwan is on a timeline.
I have a question from Zuhaib.
So I have a question from Zuhaib. Like, in industries we have variable as well as non-variable loads. I'm representing Toyota, so we have the welding load in terms of spot welding. So where does Reflex comes in regarding the variable loads that we have?
All right, nice question. This is one of the major applications where Reflex comes in. So all of your variable load, or you can say the peak load, can actually be taken by Reflex. So what is done is that Reflex is just the storage part that is deployed based on your requirement. So we basically start by studying your pattern, your load pattern, and then we see that how many spikes are there, what is your power requirement, what is your energy requirement, and eventually size the system according to your need. And this part that I was talking about, that's the brain of the system. That determines when to discharge the battery and when not to. So all of your system will be installed with energy analyzers on different locations, and we'll be monitoring closely which generation or which load is taking the peak. And we'll make the control system in a way that whenever that peak comes in, we dispatches the energy instead of energy being taken from the grid or captive, whichever you are using.
So with that, I think we've come to the end of this evening. I think we can continue our discussions in the networking area and over dinner. But I just want to thank all of you for being with us today for this very exciting milestone for our organization and generally for the country. We believe this is a big step towards 100% transition to clean energy going forward. And I hope that excitement we've been able to share with you today and we've been able to pass on to a lot of you. Inshallah, we'll continue our conversation in the future. Thank you very much.
Starting to go out.